Our lead this hour comes from the speculation machine. The Rams, the LA Rams, have a game that is going to be broadcast. Big game on CBS this weekend, of all things. The Rams and Buccaneers, a couple of NFC teams, but that'll be the big game on CBS. But the Rams are a middling team this season, currently sitting under 500. I'm shocked they don't have a worse record the way they've played. The offense has been bogged down. Overall, the performance has been lackluster. There's a lot of matador tackling. Ole, 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 ole. A lot of whiff tackling by the Ram defense. So this has led now to an uptick in chatter, radio chatter, about their head coach. And a number of super fans of the show have reached out to me via the email and said, hey, I think you should talk about this. Well, I hope you don't avoid it. All right, so I'm going to talk about it. So if you haven't heard, maybe you're out of the loop on this. We are hearing now that the another round of reports going around the pinball machine that Ram coach Sean McVay is expected to step away from the sidelines in L.A. once the core of Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and Jalen Ramsey are no longer in their prime, no longer with the Rams. He'll exit. That report comes from the rotting carcass of Sports Illustrated, Bert Breer, sharing the rumor mongering. He recently said that Sean McVay's future with the team is tied to those four players. He said, in all likelihood, when those guys are gone, McVay is going to be gone too. Said McVay's future with the team is probably tied with those four guys. So let us discuss the question. Do you believe that Sean McVay is going to, quote, retire when the Rams lose Aaron Donald and friends?
He gone.
Yeah. So here's my position. I got Beehive, Prioritize, and Crown Prince. And I will combine all of these things together, and I will make a spray-on tan, which I think Sean McVay occasionally dabbles in. So, to lead off, though, this latest round of speculation made sure to include weasel phrases, weasel words. If you followed the story, and I gave some of the quotes there, but you heard probably and in all likelihood. Now, these are terms that are given to give whoever says them plausible deniability. So, should Sean McVay sign a lifetime extension with the Rams, that Bert Breer, for example, can then come back and say, well, probably in all likelihood, but likelihoods change, probabilities change. Now, regardless of that, Sean McVay has not exactly worked to destroy the storyline that he is just passing through the Rams. And I am a believer in what I call the beehive theory of life, that where there are bees, there is honey. And there's a lot of bees right now buzzing around Sean McVay. It's obvious to me that Sean McVay and the people around McVay inside the McVay bubble of trust are actively encouraging the reporting about his future. They are pouring Kingsford charcoal, lighter fluid, on this story, fanning the flames, keeping it alive and well. Now, furthermore, why would Sean McVay leave what is a great gig? The Rams are one of the top teams in terms of success with McVay there. They've done a great job and playing in Los Angeles, the mecca of entertainment and all that. Why would McVay leave that job? And he's actually been good. He's one of the great young coaches we've seen. Certainly this generation, he's the top young coach. So from what we are hearing here, and there's rumblings, you say, well, what is real, what is not real, that McVay doesn't really love the gig, right? He doesn't love the coaching gig. He's good at it. He's really good at it. It's the family business. He's working in football. That's what the McVay family does. They work in football. But that doesn't mean he has the lifetime passion for pigskin. And the way it was explained to me, it's kind of like military families. Like if you're a kid, you're born into a family, and your father was a Marine, and his father, your grandfather, was a Marine. The chances, the probability that you are going to become a Marine are pretty high. Right? And if your father and your grandfather worked in the NFL and you're from the younger generation, well, there you go. So it does seem that McVay, based on everything that we're hearing, he's not really worried about all-time records or thinking about, well, if I can keep this job at my age and I can coach for X number of years, I can be up there with George Halas and Bill Belichick and Don Shula in the Book of Legends. Those accolades don't move the needle. And so he's decided that, I just want to let everyone know, I don't want you to be shocked when I leave the Rams in a couple of years. And if he's waiting for Matthew Stafford to get bad, he might want to leave right now. But McVay would like to prioritize the work-life balance, which we believe is impossible to achieve without looking lazy. Is it possible to have a work-life balance without looking like a sluggard? I don't really believe it is, because in order to have both, you're taking away from something. All right, you're taking away from something. Now, is it true that NFL coaches put lots of hours in at the office? Yes. But I have been a believer that it is embellished, that compared to a real working stiff, NFL coaches have a cakewalk. And you hear these broadcasters get on television and here on radio and podcasts, and they go on and on about, oh, these coaches sleep at the office. Oh, man, they spend so many hours. Well, spoiler alert, you're not paving roads with asphalt in the summer. You're not driving a snowplow in the winter. Okay, you're not building a building. Let's calm down a little bit. NFL coaches are living the dream. You have a lot of downtime. You paid a ton of money. Checks a lot of boxes when you talk about that work-life diagram. The off-season, when you're not actively coaching, right? You're not actively coaching the off-season. So it's kind of like being a teacher, except you get paid a crap load of money when you're a coach. And you don't have to play in the game, so you don't have to worry about breaking your leg or getting a concussion or your shoulder going out. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. All right, parting shot. So if Sean McVay is really interested in not coaching, then I say he should just step away. And that's coming from somebody, I like the Rams. I've been very clear about that. But if McVay's not into it, and these stories keep getting floated out that he's not into it, and he's not putting the kibosh on them, then just step away. There's an old line Bill Parcells had years ago, and I'm paraphrasing it, but once you've checked out, you can't check back in. Like, once you've made the decision that you don't want to play or you don't want to coach, there's not a lot of going back. There's no vacancies when you try to go back. The Rams are in a haze this season. Now, I hope they snap out of it and make me look like a donkey, but I'm just telling you what I've seen with my eyes. Is this a direct reflection on Sean McVay? Had Sean McVay already checked out after the Super Bowl, that was his goal to win a Super Bowl? He did it, and now it's like, well, wait a minute, I got to come back and win another one? What's up with that? Because while McVay is physically present, is his mind withdrawn? Because the Rams look like a team that's being coached by someone who's mentally absent. There's a lot of zombie football from the 2022 vintage of the LA Rams. They've been physically manhandling games. We mentioned the Matador tackling, the terrible, by McVay standards, offense. Attention to detail is lacking. And in terms of what the future holds for Sean McVay, he is a made man. The toast of the NFL town, homecoming king, Mr. Popular, all of that. And McVay owns a treasure map with detailed instructions on how to get the gold. He's got them. Right now, he's the crown prince of the NFL. He might as well join the Live Golf Tour. He's got access to the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. The amount of money he can make just on what he's already done, he's going to have the pick of the litter. He steps away from the Rams. Now, in radio, when you lose a job, they say you're on the beach. So what radio nerds say, you're on the beach when you're not working. And so McVay can sit on the beach in Malibu, and he can hang out there in Malibu, have a fine time, and then get a fluffy gig doing network television, getting paid to say nothing interesting, and work as a snake in the grass, as an opportunist, and then you can wait, pick and choose whatever job you want, whatever job you have your eye on. And you say, well, maybe you want the Patriot job. Bill Belichick's only going to be around a couple more years. Maybe you dreamed of coaching the Patriots. Or maybe, how about Andy Reid? How many more years is Andy Reid going to go in Kansas City? If you're Sean McVay, you're like, well, maybe I can coach Patrick Mahomes in a couple years because Reid's going to step away. Or Pete Carroll in Seattle. You can have any job you want if you're Sean McVay.